Hi guys, welcome to Article 68 in France. I'm gonna explain you what I think and what I experience with the T-Magic E6 since beginning. First, a little bit history. The E6 begins with the Trooper. The Trooper comes at that time with a 7075 brushed motor. You can use 60.8 volt NEM high nickel metal cadmium high drive, or the other right. Comes also with a brushless system from 6S from Hobbywing, the Xeron at that time, and as a roller. The brushed has a weaker transmission, weaker shock towers and all the stuff, but it was way better at that time as the E-Revo from Traxxas. Really a tough track and brushed. You had no issue with. What was missing on the track was a sleeper and a center or a center diff, one of the two, but in the brushed version was okay. Brushless version has reinforced front and rear differential, but 6S was really too much without center diff or slipper, so many times people break the differential. So they decided to go to a Trooper 2. A Trooper 2 was only RTR in 4S. You can't have no more roller or no more brushed version. The differential was once again reinforced. You get new cell because the diff gearing was bigger, but still no center diff, no sleeper, so still breakdowns. And the problem was in 4S, a 2500 kV motor with this weight, it was about 5.5 kilogram. That was too heavy for so high kV motor. He had soft tires on it, who really helped the trucks. It was a really great off-road car because you have a real great ground clearance in the middle from the truck, like the E-Max. The E-Max has a high clearance from the ground in the middle and a short wheelbase, and this is also the case by the E6. It has 350 mm. That's longer than a buggy but shorter than a truggy. And then comes the 3HX. On the 2 you get at that time put the center diff, an optional center diff in. From the 3, when the 3 comes out, you get finally, after a few years waiting, a center diff to put in the gear, and you can put this in the Trooper 2. With that center diff, the driveline is safe even in 6S. But the HX3 was still only 4S with still this wrong 2500 kV motor, and for the 1, the 2 and the 3 we had something cool. Something cool they stopped to do because some people don't understand that. It was a real flex upper arm that allows you by big crash or something or a mislanding to twist the whole suspension without breaking anything. You don't break the shocks, you don't break the CVD, don't break the tie rod, and never breaks here the hubs. But on the 3 version from the HX3, they do the T-Magic BES. It was an E6 with stiffer upper arms, comes with alloy shocks because the HX has only plastic shocks, but the plastic shocks from the HX are great. I really never had issue with the shocks. If it's weird or so rare or something, and not bent shock shaft or so stuff. It has already a alloy shock tower, but 61 3mm thick is also enough because the shock tower are really short. So no issue with that. I was happy with the truck, especially with the center diff in. Then comes the BES with the center diff already installed, alloy gear, some modification, and the heaviest point from the BES was the transmission. He gets new differential, full metal differential, CVD with 3.5mm output drives, beefy output drives, 3.5mm pins in the CVD. Sorry, I explained myself wrong. And also really beefy heads from the CVD. The problem is this is too stiff, and when you hit you can break here the upper brace, or sometimes more you break the hubs. But they do alloy hubs, whatever. I think it's too high priced. $50 you pay for one pair, that means $100 on the truck and the shipping cost. So that's really high priced. And here we have the Vgen, the 5th generation from this E6. No one knows what happens to V4. yeah. Maybe then they name it Vgen because it's a cool name, and to have no mistaken with 4S. So this is like the BES. This guy have the beefy transmission, has the center diff, has all alloy metal parts transmission, the super beefy driveline, how I say, and unlike the BES had gold plated aluminium parts but not optional parts. On the BES you have better parts but you still have optional parts, like the shocks or something. He had alloy shocks but not this one. This one are the optional shocks from the BES you can get for the HX. Here you have the optional shocks, full metal, 90mm diameters. You have the metal shock holder here. This is something also you get on the BS, you not have on the HX. You have the plastic parts here. Can only take those since beginning. If you take the HX6S RTR, you will be happy with the truck, but take immediately those 4 parts here for hold the shock. I love the look from the alloy gearbox, but I not like the fact that you have here holes and here a big hole, because many from us drives in gravel, and when you go in the gravel you will have something who hit here, who goes in and destroy pinion and gear mesh in the best case. In the worst case you destroy something in transmission or even the motor himself. So I can only tell you, do what you can to close that with some Lexan sheet or something, to not allow a gravel to go so easy in the transmission. But it's also open here under, so it's really difficult to really protect this transmission. It's a little bit strange for me. Maybe I'm gonna try to drive it without the gear cover, because the gear cover allows the gravel to go in but no more out, and this will be an issue. The BS is a heavy beast. The Vgen is also a heavy beast, and I noticed that many, not just I, but many people tell Team Magic that we have not enough room for big battery for this heavy truck, because with 6 or 6.5 kilogram RTR weight, if you drive 6S, the runtime is really short, and you have also, it has really good grid performance, but heat, it will generate heat and M-throw, and really sucks really fast the lipo. Then if you have not enough room for the lipo, it's a little bit boring. So they think about something other. They take the old chassis. I had expected that Team Magic will do a longer wheelbase, 370-380 millimeters, so we have more room for the battery, and eventually a little bit higher at the motor mount system here, so we have more room for big battery, but they choose to have the short wheelbase. So this is an Outcast has 325. This is the wheelbase from a buggy. E-Revo 2 or all new monster truck have 370. They choose to let 350. They make that stuff a stunt monster truck because it's really a wheelie machine because of this short wheelbase. They just cut out the chassis. You pay here 850 euro to get this naked chassis. It's really high in price. I expected for that price to become the alloy hubs with the truck. For that price it's really heavy. then they just cut here the chassis out and put this new system in. That means if you have an HX, a Trooper 1, 2 or 3, just take care by the Trooper 1. If you want to put the beefier diffs, you have to change the bulkheads front and rear, but it's the same chassis. So you can upgrade your car. You can put the center diff in the gearbox. The Trooper 1 and 2 had a closed gearbox. You have to pull it out to put the diff in, and after HX you have a gear cover under there to go to the differential. Just put 4 screws back or out the truck and you go to the center diff without any problem. So they make this system to put bigger battery in. Just take care, you have no more side protection from the LiPo if you drive like I in the wood or something. It happens to me on the HX and other trucks that I hit the side from the chassis and really hard. So I don't know if this will really protect the battery to be squeezed or crashed, so take care of that. Take care of the gravel who can heat the battery. Personally, I maybe gonna put some PVC part here in the front. I will put the battery in with a PVC part like I had done on the Hobari Hyper MT2 to protect my battery from the gravel. Also will protect a little bit if I hit from the side, but not really much. They do a chassis reinforcement plate. I break down my chassis in the back here because you have only 2 screws here or 4 holding 2mm plastics and the under here stiffener to hold the bulkheads on the chassis. I expected them to have done a rear chassis brace, but no, they put a front. But many of us break the rear, not the front. It's not, maybe not an issue, you can put this on the rear, but I not really understand if this will really help to protect breakdowns, because it's just a little square. I expected to have a part who goes here to the chassis to stiffen the upper part from the chassis. That's something we not have here, and this is something I miss. But it happened to me only one time in the winter on a really hard crash after many jumps and jumps and jumps. Servo Saver has different spring. Here you have the hard ones, you have stainless steel output drive shaft on all corner. You have the alloy here, little parts, because this is something we had on all over, even the BES, that these original parts are in plastic and breaks here just where the screw is, so you pop always off your hubs. This will provide that. The tie rod looks tiny, but they are tough, but not tough enough with this heavyweight baby. On the standard version is okay. On my BES I bent it 1 or 2 times, and if you put harder ones you will destroy the hubs really fast here, you will break down. Would be cool to have these parts with that bolted on, so we only can change what brake just by change the side and rebolt something on here. But how I say, for 850 euro I really expected to get that part in alloy with the truck out from the box, because I have here really nothing more than in the BES. I have the other shocks, but the BES shocks was cool. Don't need better shocks when I'm happy with the shocks. You have the 7075 shock towers. The beefy shock tower from DBS was enough. You have the same driveline. What's cool is that you have black and not gold, but some people like gold. Like on Medi or Monster Truck, you have no arm stopper here. That means that when you roll over, you have here pressure from the top on the suspension, and you can break out some ball ends here. So they reinforced it, but take care if it happens anyway. When you buy, because this is an optional part here on the Vgen, you become the stock front plate, but not the rear. This is also something, for that price I expected to get both, I get only one. Here you have a stopper who stops the arms, so you will not crack off so fast your ball ends. The problem is in the rear, like on the E5, when if you put here the stainless plate in the rear, it will looks upper and you can hit it. So take care if you put it on. Something general on the complete line from E6 since HX, with you can have the, it was the Trooper 2. On the Trooper 2 they begin to put this amazing wheelie bar here. You can really change the angle so much you want. You can also change the angle from the wing up. You can lower it or higher it. The problem, this is too much. This is too stiff, and you hit when you hit hard the back from the car. You really stress the chassis. I think that the wheelie bars should be flex, like on the, many people know, not gonna like what I want to tell yet, but it's a fact. The wheelie bar from the X-Max is the best you can get now on the market. The wheelie bar from the X-Max is the absolute wheelie bar killer I have seen in the 50 last years. I break one time at a big stunt try and miss, and many miss. So I think this could be flexio. Also, when you hit here, you will break the screw out from the holes here. On all my Trooper I put a longer screws through there and big washer left and right, so that not happens again. I hope that T-Magic hear us and do again the flex arms. Maybe I'm gonna cut this little part out here and flex a little bit the arm to get flex back. I exactly know that when I drive it hard, when I hit here, I will break here the A-arm holder, because you have here a plastic bushing. Here is plastic, and I will bend. This is a 4mm pin, but this pin will bend and I will crack it out from his there who he should be. On mine I have put, instead of plastic bushing here, I have put some metal bushing. I hope also that T-Magic will do this part in alloy if they continue to make these hard upper arms. Okay, it's summer, when it's really hot it's not an issue, but here where I'm living I have only 3 months of summer with about 25-30 degrees. The rest of the time we go down to 50-20 degrees, and the half of the year we have -20 to 10 degrees, and that's an issue for all that plastic. What I love is the mount from DSC, but not alloys to put to be DSC. You have to take care what you will put in here. The first version from the Trooper has here the receiver box. They keep here the receiver box for those who want to still put a receiver here, like I will do it. So I have the servo wire go direct here to the receiver. I have only the wire from DSC going here to the receiver because the motor is here. I will put this box away. It's an amazing box. This is the waterproofest receiver box you can have on the whole RC market. It's you can use this in a underwater boat without any problem. It's overkill. This is a heavy beast. I was saying we're gonna have because of the tires. These are the tires. This car drives the tires from the DS. Each tires weighs about 440 grams. That means I have 1 kilo 680 grams just tire. That's 400 grams only less. That's the weight, tire weight from the X-Max or from the Creighton. Imagine that, that's enormous. So I have two options. First, I will try the Corrali Chronos tires, amazing, super light, super good tires with a 6S combo, or I will put this one on. You have here also a splinet wheel hub, not just an hex. That's also good. And put a 1400 kV motor with ADAS. Not for going faster than 6S, but to have the same performance that the 6S, but Having 8S for 7 kilograms, I will have a cool runtime, a cool motor and cool battery. And you know, for those who know the channel, who know me, you know I like that. Many people go crazy with the motors. Just in a moment, it's something new to put 49mm motors like the new Hobby Zero 1650 kV or the new Castle 600 kV. But I make brushless since over 50 years now, and back in the time we had the Castle 7071 Yankee. And I also put it in the Tractor Summit, so I understand the guys who do that, but this is overkill. But back in the time we can only drive it 6S, now you can drive it 8S, and this is too much for these trucks. You have amazing power, the truck will handle it sometimes, but not for 50, 100 or more packs in a row in the time. I prefer to get a power, a cool power. I like my off-road trucks around 70-80 kilometers an hour is enough for me in the off-road, with enough power to in the air, to front flip, to back flip, to do what I want, but with not too much to destroy anything when I hit too late or too hard the throttle when I do something wrong. I also not like to cook my motor out, and especially not my lipos. I will put 2 gens bashing 4S super light battery in this. There's only 400 grams each, that means 800 grams for 8S. Max 6Z is maybe 50-70 grams more only than the Max 6, than the Max 8 ESC. And 42-82 can motor from the Sand Reaper maybe, which be really cool in there, even in 6S. So I can try it with the Kronos tire in 6S and put a heavier tire in 8S. What I really prefer to do when I drive it 8S, and that's why also I need 8S and such torque and powerful motor, is to use my Proline HD tire, HP tires, 500 grams each, but the look from the truck with this tire on is just really bully, and I love this when it looks like a bull, because it's typical what's go with the body. I love this body. If you put that body on a standard truggy, because it's so bright, the truggy look way more cooler. Yeah. And I prefer to get a little bit smaller tire in the high, but brighter. And really, with the 4 tire that way, with that weight, I need the 8S. I will set up to 70, 75 maybe, and we're gonna run it, and I'm sure I will have fun with it. It's clear with 8S I can go easily to 90 or 100 kilometers an hour, but that brings nothing in an off-road truck. If you just drive in the field, it's okay, you can use it, but for just drive in the field, I don't need that truck with this short base. If I just will go in a field, I can use a short course for go fast, not need a monster truck. If you already had that truck, tell me what you love, what not. If, like you find really the price too high. I think it's too high for what it is. I think for that price, I'm okay to pay that price, but I want for that price, really, I tell it again, because it's, I want it. The alloy hubs and the stainless rear plate also bolted on. Hope to see a new wheelie bar with more flex. Maybe gonna make something myself to protect the ace of my truck. I like the LEDs. I hope it's that they will put like on the E5 also little corner left and right with back LEDs, and take care the LEDs wire here are on the wrong place. You will cut it off with the body. I can only tell you, or you raise the body or you cut here out the back part, the low part from the body, because when the bumper moves and the body moves, it will destroy your LED wires. It's a small stuff. You can also use they have put here a mark, and if you cut it out here, you really can use the protection from the body like an air intake who will put air to the motor. Also in the front here I always put here some small 6mm holes and put the protection on, so I really have air coming to the motor. But the motor still not get many fresh air, so I only can tell you, put a fan on your motor. The other stuff I had done back on my old HX, but I cannot more do it here because of the new LiPo tray, is that I put a little roll bar in the truck to provide the body to be squeezed here and crashed and hit the top of the electronic. Here I cannot more do that, so I I have to think on something different here to do that, but I will do this. Or put an unbreakable body in. Okay, when I put an unbreakable body I have not such a cool looking body, but to protect my car when I drive I will be ready to do that and do here a cool paint job for just put it behind me when I'm talking to you, so you can see this cool stuff. And I will prove you, because some people say that's wrong. This is a 6 cell 5000 milliamp 4080 140 50mm high battery. That means I can put a 1000 kV motor and I can drive it 12s. Guys, look at that, fits. All you have to do is to protect your wires, that's clear, but I really can put 12s in this truck. Not to send it to the moon, but how I say, if I use here a 82mm or oh, look at that. Guys, don't move. 92mm motors with 700 kV. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It looks like at a garage will go crazy. I really can put... I have 12S ESC here. I have 3 or 4, yes, I have 4. I have enough room here to put a Flyer 150 12S ESC in. Man, one moment please. 12S Trooper BES, no BS, Vgen. Should I make a 12S Vgen? No, it's overkill, but it's clear with 12S I can go to a 60 amp Pro on the motor. That means with 12S here I will drive easy maybe 40-45 minutes. Yes, I'm crazy, you know it, I'm Mr. Overvolt, but no, I don't do that to this little truck. If I could have a longer chassis for this truck, I will do it. Also know that the transmission has no issue to handle like this. All you have to do is take care. The center differential is really tiny and small. If you want it to live a long time, if you know you go out and you drive 3, 4, 5 packs in a row and really heat it up, I can only tell you, put each time you come back the diff out and change the diff oil. Because he's so small and there is hard oil in the middle. You put here 1 million CST oil in the middle. That's heavy, so take care of that because it's small. I had the same issue that I have with my Savage back in the time, is that the pressure in the differential was too high and I destroyed the screws who hold the diffs together. Because I have not, each time I come back from the runs, check my center diff. So take care of the center diff. You know already, or hope that almost from you already know that in the USA you can get this truck by team Red Cat Racing. Red Cat Racing is a brand I really not like much. They do many times just low-cost Chinese crap, but they had the E63HX on the program to name it TR8TMTE with super cool colors. They do it black, gray and red, and looks amazing. You have the normal HX and you have the BS version, but looks way better than the BS version. I don't know if they sell the Vgen by Red Cat, but the 2 hours trucks, yeah. Would be cool for you to get faster priceless the parts. Here in Europe it's no interesting for us to buy Red Cat cars because with the shipping cost from the US it's too high priced. I really want to do the truck ready. If I listen to my head, I do it now. But I have no time. I can't do it now. I have, guys, it's not a joke, I have 65 cars to prepare, and this is number 62. I really have 65 cars to prepare. I have second-hand cars here to handle. I have cars from subscriber to overhaul here. I have new cars to prepare on demand for subscribers, and this maybe will be end of the summer until this truck goes out here from the workshop. I really want to try first in 6S, but will I resist to high voltage? I don't know, I don't think. Bye guys, have a nice day.